mentioned wanting to see a roadmap for how this conflict can conclude. What concrete ideas have you presented, and how did Russia respond in this meeting?
Well, again, these things are best negotiated. I don't want to in private, and that's how these things generally work. There were some ideas exchanged today, some viewpoints that they expressed to us that I'll take back to the president for his consideration, and hopefully it will lead to something. I don't want to overpromise. I mean, again, as I said, this is a conflict that's been going on now for over 3 years, and as has already been pointed out by one of the questions here, we've seen an acceleration of attacks. I think it's probably the largest drone attack in a city close to the Polish border, actually, so it's a pretty deep strike. And again, I mean, every time you see this in the headlines and people die, it reminds you of why the president wants this war to end. As he has said from the beginning, his number one interest here is to stop people from dying and the destruction that's ongoing every single day. They're going to be having a conference, maybe it starts today if I'm not mistaken, about reconstruction and the rebuilding of Ukraine. Every time one of these strikes is launched, the price of reconstruction goes up, right? There's also the destruction of the country's capabilities, the country's economic capabilities that has to be added to this. But obviously the loss of life is something of great interest to the president. It's important to note that since January of this year, as an example, just to give you on the Russian side, they've lost 100,000 soldiers, dead. Not injured, I'm talking about dead. And on the Ukrainian side, the numbers are less, but still very significant. And so the president doesn't like wars. He thinks wars are a waste of money and a waste of lives, and he wants them to end. And he's going to do everything he can within his power to end this war and any other war he has a chance to end, as you've seen in the past. And so we're going to continue to work at it. We understand that these things take time and patience, but obviously we're also frustrated that more progress has not been made. And hopefully based on today and in the days to come, we'll have more clarity about what exactly the Russian position and priorities are in this regard, and can begin to make some progress. But it's, it's been difficult, as you've seen.
China's been supporting Russia. Will you meet with your Chinese counterpart here this week to speak to him about that?
Yeah, I think we're working on that. Maybe we'll meet, and obviously we'll talk about it. I think the Chinese clearly have been supportive of the Russian effort, and I think that generally they've been willing to help them as much as they can without getting caught. But people in Europe and other parts of the world have noticed. But in the end, this peace, if it's possible and doable, will happen between Ukraine and Russia, and we are willing to do it. If it's possible and doable, will happen between Ukraine and Russia, and we are willing to do whatever we can to help bring it to an end.
Can I ask an ASEAN question?
A what?
An ASEAN question.
Yeah, of course. That's why we're here, right?
Can I ask you one more quick question on Russia? Just these ideas that were put on the table today, would you characterize them as new ideas from the Russian side that the Trump administration had not heard before?
Yes. Well, I think maybe, yes. I think it's a new and a different approach. Again, I wouldn't characterize it as something that guarantees a peace, but it's a concept that, we'll take back to the president today and here as soon as I finish with you.